Hey folks, welcome back to another Pokemon's video. So today let's talk a bit about like the free Pokefairs, right? So we do have this free Pokefair select scout thing, right? That you get, you know, it's a ticket that you do by finishing the anniversary missions, which are all pretty easy, right? I mean, like you know, you just have to, you need 8 of the 10, so you don't even have to like complete all of them. As long as you complete like 8 out of 10. You're good, right? So it's, you know, I actually like this concept because, you know, you have to like actually do the events that occur during the anniversary, right? The special stadium over here, right? Yeah, the throwback challenge, daily region rotation. It's a like newly refreshed thing, so I guess yeah, that too. And then, you know, the villain arc as well. So which I haven't done yet, but we'll get to that eventually. But yeah, so basically, it's a multi, right? It's a multi with these Pokefairs inside them, so you do have the regular rate to get them within the multi, but at the end, you get to pick one, right? The chances of getting one throughout the multi is obviously, as you could tell, really low. It's like 0.1%, but again, at the end, you do get to pick one. You do guarantee get to pick one of the 3. So yeah, I guess we'll just talk about quickly which one is probably better to really pick, and it's only these 3, by the way. It's only these 3. It's the, I guess, initial, but like the earlier on Trainer Lodge Pokefairs, right? Marnie and Raihan, and all 3 of these have 4 out of 5 expansions. So I highly doubt like there's too many people out there that have them all like 5 out of 5 maxed out or whatever, right? So it would be helpful, I'd say, for a lot of people, right? You know, it's free, right? So, so of the 3, Marnie, Electric, Tech, Nuker, Dark DPS, and Electric Striker. Basically, that's this. Yeah. And then, and Raihan is a Steel Striker that also has some alright Rock type DPS, I guess, and also has a Dragon type, but it's like pretty terrible, so we usually don't talk about that. But yeah, of these 3, I feel like the obvious choice seems to be Raihan, right? I feel like the obvious choice seems to be Raihan, and it's just that like he aged the best. Also, he got a really nice 4 out of 5 good expansion as well, right? So like even if you do have him at 3 out of 5, I mean, if you don't have any of the other 2, then I'd still advocate going for like a new unit over higher copies maybe. Right, but his 4 out of 5 is definitely really nice, because of the fact you have stuff like, well, yeah, at 4 out of 5 you get trip twice 9, right? That's -2 speed on each one of them, which doesn't seem as useful, right? But if you do have it at 5 out of 5 as well, you also get Cakewalk, which, you know, you add that in Cakewalk, then that obviously works a lot. And then on the other side, you have Weathered Warrior 3 at 3 out of 5, which is very nice because he already has stuff like Sandblaster Surging Sand already, and it's pretty close to the Sandblaster Surging Sand stuff there anyway, so if you're gonna pick it up, it's relatively, you know, cheap, right? And then at 5 out of 5 you also get Sand Sink. The ability to, you know, set Sandstorm on like a striker is pretty good, right? So I'd say his 4 out of 5 5 out of 5 are definitely both really nice, right? But outside of that, even if you don't, you know, have him that high, like if we're going for like 1 out of 5 units, I'd still probably just go for him, right? He's just overall, again, he just works a bit better, right? He just works a bit better. Obviously his big downside is that atrocious speed, right? Atrocious speed. But you know, there are some things that kind of help, I guess, right? You know, you do have there's like Sands of Time 3, which is not bad. It's not great, it's not bad. Entry freebie, I guess, right? That could also help a bit with that. And you also have 1 free move next effect on your trainer move to begin with. So definitely speed is an issue, but damage wise he's very powerful, right? Again, especially if you do get him 4 out of 5 5 out of 5, he has a great, you know, Striker Nuke as well at that, right? And again, the ability to set sand, all that stuff, and you know, you also got 3 different type damage. Although Dragon Pulse isn't that much used. Rock Slide isn't like crazy good either, but you know, you could definitely use it right? Especially against certain like legendary gauntlet stages. He doesn't have that extra aggravation on it, but you know, it's still something, I guess, right? And you know, especially if you are running like a sand team, he could definitely double as a decent secondary rock type damage dealer. But the other thing about Raihan is, right, like, you know, he got his upgrade, which is cool, but he's not done upgrading, right? Because more likely than not, he will be getting a Dynamax, like, you know, upgrade in the future, just like how Leon got his. And his is much better than what Leon would be getting, right? Because, you know, first of all, you'll get another extra Sandstorm on your max, you know, Rock Fault, right? With Rock Slide. And he should also have a G-Max Depletion with Steel Beam, if I remember correctly, right? Although I'm not sure how that's going to translate to Pokemon Masters. Is it just going to clear the opponent's, like, gauges or debuff their speed? Which, you know, both are helpful, right? Both are helpful. And, you know, you got Max Wormwind there as well with Dragon Pulse. So I feel like I feel like of the other three, he's the best one right now. And he also, again, has that future potential too, right? So the other two are very, very different units, I guess, from each other. And he's a electric type damage dealer, pretty straightforward, I guess. Also had a, you know, really bad issue with speed, which I had. Well, he still has it, right? His speed is also really slow. So him and Raihan are similar in that sense. They're just slow damage dealers, right? His 4-5-5-5 expansion was pretty good too, honestly, because, like, you know, got Hostile Environment 4 there, along with like a Static Boost 3, which is nice because that's for both the Sync and the regular move, right? So that's neat. Got Focus Rush 3 there, right, with follow through on your training move, so you could just pick that up. You could get that, or yeah, you could get that with the guaranteed crit, and then guaranteed crit on your Sync, and then Focus Rush plus 3 on your on your crit afterwards, and then Berserker, so you could become at least completely self-sufficient. So that's definitely nice, right, with the 4-5-5-5 grid. If it's not, you know, if you're not at like I guess at least 4-5, right? If you're not at least 4-5 with him, he does struggle quite a bit nowadays, right? Obviously you could, it's not like that big, like, yeah, you could run you run supports with him, right? But it's a very needy unit, right, in terms of like support that you need, because you would, if like, you know, you're running sports anyways, right? But you'd rather him have all those self buffs, and then you could run a support more focused on like gauges, right? Instead, in comparison to, you have to also have to worry about is you know, damage or at least tanking, right? So yeah, and then again, you're losing out, you know, 30% damage across the board, right, if you don't have the static boost. But I mean, he's okay, right? He's okay. It's just, again, 3 out of 5 is not the best, right? Obviously lower than that, you know, not that great. Either Marnie is again, it's a very different unit from N, right? Marnie is kind of like the opposite, very high speed, right? Should have what, 387 speed or something, right? At 140. So you do have that. It's a 2-gauge damage dealer, right? It's a dark type DPS. Although I do feel like the archetype of, like, Marnie when she first came out, like, amazing unit, right? And, you know, just crazy good DPS, really powerful nuke as well, right? One of the best in the game at the time, if I remember correctly, something like that. Top 3, top 5, something like that. But anyways, but nowadays I feel like the split type thing is not very efficient, right? You know, especially if you look at master mode, like if you pick up the damage reduction, right? If you're not, like, you're hitting with non-super effective moves, like, that just kind of sucks, right? So that does, I feel like, take a decent amount, you know, away from her. But if you still want like a dark type DPS, you know, she's still very good in that extent. Not as good as some of the other, like, modern, like the other Marnie, right, for example, but she's still pretty good over there. And again, really gauge efficient, I'd say. Her 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5 grid, I don't find very good. I mean, you do like dashing teams, yeah, that's nice, right? Numbing blow, I think this is overkill. I don't really think you really need that, right? Because you already have like Hostile Rhyme at 5. It's like, do you really need that? Not really, I don't think. I guess Critical Eye, sure, but like you also do have MP Rekindle, so it's like not that bad either. Or NPR, whatever, right? If you really need that. Disheartening Shock is it's definitely nice, right? So yeah, the grid isn't like completely worthless or whatever. It's all right. It's pretty, you know, it's pretty solid, I guess. But yeah, she's just now more of a, you know, a lot of scenarios you just use like half of her kit, right? Either you use a DPS or you use a sync. And again, they're both really good. They're both really good still, especially if you're fighting something like a Tornadus or whatever. So I think you could still consider this. So like I'd say, in terms of who you want, like all three of them are solid units. Again, I do think that Raihan is probably a step above the other two at the moment, but you know, if you just like the other two, then it's fine, right? Picking your favorite still obviously always valid, right? But outside of that, I'd probably recommend Raihan probably first, and then after that, it kind of depends, right? Like if you don't have either and you're looking for like your first copy, I'd probably recommend Marnie a bit more, right? For like a first copy. But if you already do have them both and you want more copies, if you have them at the, you know, if they're out of 5, I'd say 4 out of 5. 5N is probably, you probably want that. But you know, if Marnie, you don't have Marnie at 3 out of 5 yet, right? I think it's 3 out of 5, right? Which one was the one which gives you? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3 out. Yeah, inertia, right? So yeah, I'd say 1 out of 5 Marnie first, and then 3 out of 5 Marnie, and then 4 out of 5 / 5 out of 5N, maybe. It's probably in some kind of, you know, somewhere kind of like that, right? In terms of which ones I probably recommend going for. But yeah, regardless, I'd say Raihan's still the one you probably want to go for first. But not if you don't have 0 copies of the other two, right? So like if you have Raihan and Marnie at 1 out of 5, I'd probably still maybe just go for like your first copy of N, right? But yeah, I guess if you do really want an argument for the other two over like Raihan, you could say, oh well, the electric type high score event is coming up, so if you want like a short-term profit, right, you could definitely go for N and Marnie just because they're both electric type, and they'll obviously have the boost in the high score event that's coming up. But you know, if you're really focused on that, but otherwise, I'd say again still Raihan, right? So anyways, yeah, that's one. I guess. Hope y'all enjoyed, guys. Think in the comments down below. Link to the videos for now, some more Pokemon content. I haven't done mine yet, but I'm probably gonna get Raihan, right? Because I've N at 5 out of 5 already. It's just between Marnie and Raihan. They're both 4 out of 5. Probably could go Raihan first. Again, Marnie's 5 out of 5 is pretty nice too. It's a lot better than her 4 out of 5. But Sand, man, you said Sand at 5 out of 5. That's kind of a big deal. So all right, have fun, folks. I'll see you guys in the next one.